coming up this week? Off screen.
We chase the front runner,
Look for the upside.
get to know Colette,
And meet Stan and Ollie.
all those to come and more off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Colette.
I'm Kelly Needham.
Welcome back. Happy New
Hooray!
Year. And
Happy New
so
Year.
forth and seasonal
Oh,
things.
glad tidings and
The
such
things you say when you go back
and
to work after Christmas.
Boo, that's what we say.
Do you ever get that thing where someone says, "How was your Christmas?" And you're like, clearly you don't want my biopic.
Yeah,
But,
the answer is, yeah, it was fine, thanks.
That's it. That's the only acceptable answer, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. It should not come with a slideshow, right?
All right, I'll bear that in mind. Can't help
enough.
but feel that's a personal dig at my slideshow I had prepared.
No. I want to see your slideshow. Anyway, it's not here. I'm trying for the save. Okay, so movies, loads more movies. We've got loads of fun to come. We've got box office top 5, etc. But we need some film news to start us off. So what should we talk about?
Well, tell me about the Golden Globes.
Oh yes, the Golden Globes were the other night.
Yeah, what happened?
It was mental. Okay, so the list of the nominees is out there. You know, you make your predictions, and you always forget that awards season is long.
Yeah.
There's lots of time for things to really go in weird directions. So this year, I stupidly made what I assume will still be the actual Oscar picks for the Golden Globes, and nope, could not have been more wrong.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it went a little stranger than I expected. So Christian Bale won for Vice. He won best actor in a musical comedy, I think, for Vice.
I genuinely don't even know what Vice is.
So I'm just pulling up the actual list of the Golden Globes 2019 winners. I didn't think to prepare.
Unlike you.
I know. But yeah, it's a movie about Dick Cheney, the former Vice President of the United States. He was George W. Bush's VP. And the whole shtick around the idea of making a movie about him was that actually he was a lot more outlandish a character, and he assumed so much more all-consuming power than anyone ever actually noticed, that if you made a movie about it, it would actually change your perception of it. But Christian Bale's very good in it. The movie is not good.
Oh. Well, we know from the past that to be a good musical and or comedy, you don't have to be either. But is it one of those?
What, like The Martian?
Just like The Martian.
Just like The Martian was. But no, it's definitely a comedy.
Okay.
And Christian Bale's very good in it. I just didn't expect him to actually win. Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor in a drama in one of the proper films, before they get separated from musical and comedy. It was a strange one. Rami Malek won for Best Actor. Nobody expected Rami Malek to win anything for acting.
Yeah, but he did do a good job.
He did do a good job, but I thought we were just going to kind of not take Bohemian Rhapsody that seriously as an awards contender.
Well, there you go.
And then, now it's asking all sorts of really awkward questions about Bryan Singer as well. So,
Oh, there was a bit of drama as well there was like a 15-year-old actress who tweeted a support of Rami Malek, and it was kicked off.
But it also won Best Picture, Best Drama Motion Picture.
Did it?
It did. It's bizarre. Nobody expected any of this. However, Shallow did win Best Song. So
Yeah, of course it did.
That one's kind of a fixed point.
I should have bet some money on that one.
But Glenn Close won Best Actress in a Drama. Olivia Colman won Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. And I don't think anyone saw Glenn Close winning for that either.
Yeah, what did she win for?
The Wife. Which that was the thing. When that movie came out, everyone agreed that regardless of what you thought about the film, she was amazing in it.
Yeah.
And she really was. But I thought the film was so kind of dismissed that they wouldn't take her seriously when it came to awards.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we see.
So what's the next one?
The next one's... Oh, hang on. We've had the BAFTA nominations today, and I'm not sure what the next actual awards presentation is. We shall find out, though.
It'll be soon.
It'll be soon. So before we continue, then we should plug the podcast edition. which you can get on Acast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just pick wherever your podcast factory is. Just pop along to the podcast factory and they churn them out there.
You'll find us.
And competitions. We've got Stan and Ollie merchandise to give away.
Ooh.
Yes, these include, imaginatively enough, they've got pencils, right, with little bowler hats on the
Oh my God, that sounds cute.
You've got a T-shirt, you've got a clapperboard and a notebook.
Yeah, well, what could you
full
want?
merch pack. So,
How does one win?
How does one win? All you got to do is just tweet Stan just hashtag Stan and Ollie at the Movie Marker Twitter feed.
That's easy enough.
That's it. Easy enough, isn't it?
Consider it done.
Yep, there we are. So, we should probably review Stan and Ollie then.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stan and Ollie, as you'll have seen some minor buzz for this, I think, before Christmas, and now it started appearing on buses.
I've seen the trailers a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that John C. Reilly, has been in that where they actually will show to critics.
Yeah.
'Cause Holmes and Watson did not inspire faith, I think, in that one. But very different performance.
Stuff, yeah.
He's award nominated for this. He got nominated for the Globes and everything.
Win some, you lose some.
You do indeed. Holmes and Watson, massive loss.
Ooh.
Just really terrible. We don't have to talk about that, which is nice. So Steve Coogan is Laurel. John C. Reilly is Hardy. This is like 20 years or so after the bulk of their success, out of the golden period of Laurel. All the Laurel and Hardy that you know of basically comes from 20 years before the bulk of this story. So it becomes kind of their last hurrah. Mm-hmm. It's their tour of the music halls in the north of England and their last sort of attempt to assert their presence, as royalty in comedy. However, Hardy is ill. And it's a question of whether or not his health can hold out until the end of this run. Will they land the coveted venue in London to which the film producer will come along and will fund their adaptation of Robin Hood that they hope will spur on a whole new line of older period films that will, exactly. But of course, there's Hardy's health to consider. We have a clip of them at a slightly more robust point.
We should ask for a little more money.
A little more? You kidding? Charlie, Buster, Harold, they get 10 times what Hal pays us.
Well, they own their own pictures.
Exactly. That's what we're going to do.
Now, how are we going to do that? We're under contract. We can't just change the terms.
Well, we stick together. We renegotiate with Hal, get a bigger slice of the pie. If that doesn't work, then we walk and set up on our own.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to own our pictures, but it just doesn't seem like the right time. I've got a lot going on. This overhead is killing me.
Hi, babe.
Hello, Doyle.
Hey, guys. You want it on set?
You'll be fine, babe. Just lay off the horses and don't get married again.
Oh, I didn't tell you. I proposed to Lucille.
Scripty, Lucille?
Yes.
Damn.
And she said yes.
Oh, that's great news, babe. I'm never getting married again. I'm just going to find a woman I don't like and buy her a house.
That's a good one.
So John C. Reilly's got that voice down, hasn't he?
Oh my God. He sounds great, but Steve Coogan's American accent drives me insane.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It never gets any better either.
It's almost as bad as Jason Statham's.
The less about that one, the better. The thing is, though, that Coogan is really good at the dramatic stuff in this. He handles it all brilliantly because whereas Hardy, for John C. Reilly, there's the makeup to work with, there is the physical side of it.
Yeah.
With Laurel, it's a lot more of an introspective storyline. It's a lot more about his own self-worth.
Yeah.
What is he worth without his partner? And we're shown in previous iterations that attempts had been made to replace him, for instance. And that basically people thought that for iconic purposes, Hardy was more essential than Laurel.
Oh, interesting.
They have a name for the guy, I forget, but it's something like, Steve and Hardy, something like that. Like a mock version. They were actually shown at one point. But yeah, the performances are really, really good, despite Coogan's deranged accent, which does say never ever gets any better. But yeah, there's so much heart behind John C. Reilly's performance as well. Like, he doesn't slum it. He's really, really good here.
Oh.
Like, it's not a case of just the makeup effects are fooling you or anything, because it is really convincing as well.
I've seen the trailers.
Yeah, you do feel like you're looking, he's just put weight on. It's like Christian Bale in Vice.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. But the problem is that the film itself is a little bit, I don't know, it feels like it's restraining itself a little bit from being as brutal on its characters as it could be, particularly Laurel. I feel like they soft pedal Steve Coogan a little bit as Laurel. Like, he's not quite given the zone to go into that you'd kind of like to see. That you'd like to see a bit more of the obvious scumbaggery
Yes.
If you know what I mean. You want a little bit more of that. And John Baird directed this, who directed Filth before. You know the James McAvoy film? So you think, that man knows salacious.
Yeah.
He can do salacious. But it's obviously something that's come from the scripting stage. It's obviously not something I think that the director himself has created for it. But I did like it on the whole. I do think their performances, though, take it from being good to great. The performances are that strong that they make a good film great.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
And we're back visiting him. So, right. So, shall we continue? Shall we have some film news before we carry on?
Yeah, come on.
What have you got? What do you want to ask about?
So Spider-Verse. Apparently there could be some TV spin-offs coming.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing now.
Well, why not?
It was the obvious thing, though, to be fair.
I mean, there's an obvious sort of, Saturday morning cartoon series, but the animation, though, is going to be wonderful. Because it would, for obvious reasons, have to look very similar to the movie, so it'll never feel too detached.
No motion blur, right?
Yeah, exactly.
See, I listen. I remember.
We're nerding you over time, is what we're doing.
True. I have to say, though, if they do a spin-off that's that pig one, I'm not watching that.
You don't want a Spider-Ham?
No, I don't want no Spider-Ham.
No Peter Porker?
Boring for me.
Fair enough. But yes, so we might get a couple of animated series. I would imagine Penny Parker would be an obvious candidate for that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be terribly surprised to hear some maybe Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
I could imagine that. Maybe not as a forever series, but at least as a limited run.
Yeah, maybe a short series. The other one, Margot Robbie, is going to be Barbie.
Yep, she's producing it as well.
Now, is this the same one that Amy Schumer was going to be in, or is this a completely different one?
I think it is that project, but they've changed what the project is since then. They've pivoted.
They've pivoted. Instead of going for, she's a normal person who's also Barbie, it's, she's beautiful and thin and wonderful, just like Barbie.
Okay, so I'm sensing there's some deep-seated issue in there I don't want to get into. I'll tell you what, can I talk about another woman with deeply enforced issues as well?
Yeah, go on then.
Talk about Colette. Okay, so Colette is, you may have seen this as, this is the Oscar Keira Knightley one.
That one.
Yeah, you know when you don't remember the title, it's the Oscar Keira Knightley one.
Yes.
It's also got Dominic West in it, though, and I like him very much.
Yeah, Sheffield man, isn't he?
Sheffield man, he is.
Hey.
So, Colette is the story of... I'm going to have to try and remember her name now, because Colette is only her
Colette?
surname.
Oh.
Her surname is Colette. She is... Oh, man. I forget her actual name. It's gone.
Tony Collette?
No, Keira Colette. There we are. Okay, so Colette is the young farm girl whose father served in the military with the father of an up-and-coming publisher, played by a publisher / writer / celebrity of sorts, played by Dominic West. He is Willie, and he runs his publishing house by Willie. And
I'm sorry, I'm such a child.
I know. So they marry. She moves to Paris under the auspices of living the life of the rich celeb, living his wife. And of course, it very quickly transpires that he's a lot more of a charlatan than he'd ever let on. That basically he just has ghostwriters, and he has serious gambling debts. He can barely keep up with paying them and paying his rent.
He sounds just like Katie Price.
Good Lord. Really went there. We went from Barbie to Katie Price. Really. So it quickly comes to light that Colette herself has something of a sort of undeveloped writing talent. And having simply been given all the developmental courage of, why don't you try writing, she does. And it turns out she's absolutely brilliant. She creates the Claudine series of novels. This is all a true story, by the way. This is how we got the Claudine novels. However, as his fame, because obviously it's published under his name, it's by Willie. So, yeah. So as his fame takes off and hers doesn't so much as just being the wife of the writer, she starts to explore the party scene of this writers' community in Paris, and discovers she actually also enjoys an open marriage herself. That she actually enjoys the company of women, something he initially encourages but lives to regret. Right. What then happens is, as her journey into full-blown womanhood evolves, so too does her writing. And she starts to find herself at war with Willie over the direction she wants to take the series of books that she herself is authoring. But of course, it's all in his name, so she has no rights. We have a clip of kind of what lands them there.
We need more output.
Well, you could get another writer.
Pay them with what? We're not even making 1,000 this month. I've got 300 from the Echo, 425 from the latest Vamp novel, and just 250 from the music reviews. It doesn't even cover the outgoings.
How can we spend so much money?
The mortgage, Matilde, restaurants.
You always pick up the bill, Willie, no matter how many people join us.
It's expected of me.
And the races and the casino.
What do you want me to do? Live like a monk or a peasant?
No, I'm just saying that we could economise.
You could write.
What?
Those stories you told me of Saint-Sauveur last year.
My school stories?
Yes, that could be Willie's next novel. Well, try it anyway, but try now. Start immediately. Aim for 4 hours at a time. The wolves are at the door!
Yeah, Willie's a bit of a tool, huh?
He sounds nice.
He does. But, he's got that Dominic West voice, so I kept calling him Dominic Cooper this week as well. It was really embarrassing.
Oh, dear. What a faux pas.
Oh, yeah, well, there's a term you don't hear very often, isn't it? Right, so this comes to us from Wash Westmoreland, who directed Still Alice a few years ago. Remember, that got a lot of awards buzz when it was out. And I will say, actually, the film looks the part. It definitely has the auspices and the presence of being a serious work of art. And I mean, not saying it actually is, but there are efforts made, for instance, to root itself in works of art, in the works of things like Monet and Manet, and famous paintings that are then restaged as the background imagery for this. And it feels like a brilliantly excessive touch for a film that otherwise wouldn't really need it if Keira Knightley weren't brilliant in it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
a turn up for the books.
That's something I didn't expect. She's genuinely terrific in this. It helps that she's just given kind of a fun character to play. Having said that, the film does have rather staggering issues. Namely that, well, it never defines any kind of consequence for itself. It seems to wildly lean into the sort of crass glamorization of the story rather than the actual reality around it. So, for instance, this is taking place in 19th century Paris. The public manner in which she delves her interest in other women is greeted with just a completely baffling ambiguity.
Oh.
And despite the fact that there is a scene in it, in a music hall, when it goes decidedly the other way, and they are actually persecuted. Right. And you think it's really strange that you have defined this as happening within a confined space, but the rest of the world is entirely fine. It's a film that has that kind of problem at its core.
That's a bit odd.
It is, and it then commits the cardinal sin for me, which is what I call the 12 Years a Slave ending, which is they finish the plot of 12 Years a Slave, the movie, and then over the end credits they tell us a much more interesting story happened afterwards. When he went to court and had to prove that yeah, exactly, all that stuff. This does the same kind of thing.
Oh, man.
Here's the end of the movie. By the way, all of this infinitely more awesome stuff happened afterwards. That would have been a better movie. And if you'd done the art thing with that, if you'd done the painting thing with that, it would have been killer. But no, we didn't get that. We got this instead. So it sits at a tidy 3 stars for me. But
that's not too bad, though.
Keira Knightley's great in it. And I thought Dominic West, he handled being a bit unpleasant and being comedic quite well.
He does that quite well, though.
He does. It's all in the eyes, isn't it?
It is.
It is. So, anything in the film news we can talk about real quick?
I don't know if this is good news, bad news, or nobody cares news. Probably the latter.
Okay.
Kelly Marcel, she's coming back to write Venom 2. So she was one of the screenwriters for the first. And, yeah, she's going to come back. And...
yeah, giant, who cares? Yeah. I don't think anyone was praising Venom for its scripting. So
I hate it because of the scripting.
Fair. So we're decidedly not people who are going to be anticipating Venom 2, I don't think.
Quite.
But I'll tell you one that I was strangely anticipating and then I saw and I now feel a lot less pleasant about is The Frontrunner.
Oh, right, go on.
An extra review. So this is latest from Jason Reitman. Son of Ivan? I think he's son of Ivan, isn't he?
I have no idea.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, so it's the story of Gary Hart.
Gary Hart.
This is the Oscar Hugh Jackman one.
Now I know.
Yeah, this is the Oscar Hugh Jackman. That's what we're going to be doing for a few weeks now.
Of course.
But yes, this is the Oscar Hugh Jackman one. He's Gary Hart. Do you know the story of Gary Hart?
No.
Because I think the film does kind of assume that you do.
Well, I don't.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I knew the Cliff Notes version. Didn't really know much more than that. Saw the film, didn't care. It's clearly aimed at people who kind of knew the story.
All right, give us a snipsy bit.
Right, so Gary Hart was a senator who was a shoo-in for the presidency.
I'm out.
Yeah, of course there's sexual misconduct involved. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get to that. We'll get to that bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so he's a US senator who was a shoo-in for the US presidency. He was going to take the presidency. Everyone knew it. It was just a lock. And then he did something really, really silly in an interview in which he fought back against an interviewer by saying, look, you can't drag things up from the past and expect it to have any relevance to who they are now. I'm a perfectly boring, ordinary person. I dare you, just follow me. You'll see nothing. What do you think happened?
I think they followed him and nothing happened.
They did follow him and something happened.
Uh-oh.
And they uncovered an affair.
What a
And this
dumb
is...
person.
Oh, yes, I know. You sort of think,
I really had to control myself then.
Only a US senator, right? So,
Why haven't they done that with Trump?
Exactly. So this then becomes the point. This is credited as the point at which America went tabloid.
When is this set?
This is set in the late 80s.
Okay.
So this is deemed as the point that America went tabloid. The idea that rolling news became at that exact point what it is today. This is where our Fox News and our CNN come from. Okay. So we have a clip of Hugh Jackman throwing the gauntlet down.
This right here is why people don't want to be in public life, because someone will dredge up something you said in a moment 15 years ago and act like it somehow encapsulates your life.
Look, I'm
going to answer one more of these. I'm not going to sit here anymore. We've covered all the stuff that matters. Did you ask Reagan about his marriage?
Right, let's wrap this up.
No, listen. Did you ask Carter these questions?
There have been rumors, particularly about...
For God's sake, AJ, just ask whatever it is you came here to ask, or whatever your editor told you to ask me. This is beneath you.
Okay. Do you feel like you have a traditional marriage? Yeah, nope, that's it.
You
We're done here.
want to know what I'm doing in my spare time, AJ? Is that it? Follow me around. Put a tail on me. You'd be very bored.
Yeah, he was a dumbass, right?
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so he was kind of asking for it, literally, in that case.
Well, yeah.
Right, the film is very well shot if what you're looking for is basically something like The Insider again. It does feel a lot like Michael Mann's The Insider, which kind of worked, I think, because you weren't expected to know the story, whereas here you are. What this does is relies too heavily on telling you things rather than actually showing you them. And that's kind of the opposite of how it should work. The best movies show you something.
Because they're movies and you can see them.
It's a visual medium. Use the medium. You know what I mean? So the whole plot hinges on the idea, for instance, that you have to accept straight off the bat that Gary Hart was the most wonderful all-American man in the world. That he was the A-grade human being. That's how he was perceived. The film does not in any way show you that. There is a fleeting glimpse at best. They constantly tell you about consequences, things that are actually going on around them, and they do it to such a patronisingly over-explained degree that at points it feels like it's being narrated by its own cast, literally breaking the fourth wall as they do it. Like, there's literally a point where a character turns to it and thinking, are you literally telling us what the plot requires us to know?
Sounds stupid.
Like they're describing scene transitions. It's so weird. It's, now we're going to cut to the office. Like, yeah, thanks.
Thanks for that.
Hugh Jackman's fine in it, but there's no character there because they've lent too heavily into this weird sense of expository storytelling that they've kind of forgotten to add any character in there. Like I say, by showing you things, they might have gotten around that, but they chose instead to sit and explain it all.
Snore.
And yeah, bit of a snoozer. I was actually kind of looking forward to it, to be honest. Can't recommend it, though. I will say, though, do you know who's in this? And I've forgotten about her.
Who?
Sarah Paxton.
Oh.
The child actress who went on to be in Shark Night. And yeah, I hadn't seen her in anything in ages. I'm like, oh, Sarah Paxton. She's still in movies.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, good for you, Sarah. Nice to see you again.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
And we're back, Ms. Needham. You know what time it is.
What time is it?
It's top 5 time.
Number 5.
It's Bumblebee.
Did you hear about this over Christmas, like the business this was doing?
No.
It was doing really badly.
Was it?
Yeah, like no one was going to see it.
It's not a Christmas film.
And then it opened in China and China saved it.
China said, yay!
They did. Thank you, China. But because there was a concern that it might not sell in China for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah. And then China's bolstered the international box office, and all is well in the world again. So hopefully we will see more Transformers movies, I hope, because this one is really, really good.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for there.
Yeah, because we know what happened the last time. Yeah, exactly. But there's still time for this to go off the rails. But yeah, I really liked Bumblebee. I thought it was the Transformers movie I'd always wanted to see. That's really the only thing I can call it. I think whoever tweeted us did say something similar, but you may be able to correct me.
I'll tell you exactly what they said. So Justin Lasalata said, saw at Bumblebee movie last night, really enjoyed it. Never thought I'd ever hear/see Ravage eject from my childhood up on the silver screen in my life. Teared right up. Hashtag Bumblebee movie. Hashtag Transformers.
Nice.
Number 4.
Oh, come on. Event Cinema, Andre
Ryu? Is it Ryu?
Ryu,
I think
2019 live New Year concert.
I think we can safely say with some degree of certainty that I have not seen this.
Yeah.
No. So has anyone tweeted?
Yeah, Barry saw it.
Barry saw it. What did Barry think? Do you like it, Barry?
At Barry Havenhand said, went to one of those relay shows of hashtag Andre Ryu, whatever. Amazing shtick take, cheesy music. Add big budget, high production values and present it with panache. And it works surprisingly well.
Wow. Thanks, Barry.
Number 3.
Aquaman.
Well, I can't believe Bumblebee was doing badly and Aquaman was approaching $1 billion. I mean,
There's
really?
a lot of thirsty ladies out there, I'm
Oh
afraid,
my
man.
God, this is just, it's insane to me that this movie's doing so well.
Well,
it's terrible.
I don't know what to tell you. I've not seen it. I can't bring myself to do it.
You can't. Oh my God.
It's too much time commitment.
It is, because it's like 2.25, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
It is.
And I feel like I don't need, like, Amber Heard sass for 2 hours.
Nobody needs that.
No one needs that. No one needs that. Did whoever tweeted us need it?
Well, I'm gonna try and interpret the pronunciation myself here.
Okay, fair.
So at Shamuri, and that's not even me doing my pronunciation yet.
Okay.
It's all in caps as well, but I'm not gonna shout. Honestly, can't stop grinning while watching hashtag Aquaman. Jason Momoa is fine.
Fair.
Number 2.
It's the favourite.
Which I really liked. Didn't expect to at all. Well, yeah, so
Clearly other people do too.
Yeah, you've had some fun with this, haven't you?
Honestly, I do want to watch this film, but part of me really doesn't and wants to lock it away forever.
That's fair, because you share your Twitter handle with this movie's title.
I had it first.
But you've not got an underscore and they have. Is that how it works?
That's exactly
They
it. So
are-
if you do want to tweet the film, it's at the _favourite.
Not the favourite, that's Kelly.
Yes.
So there we are. Okay, I realised we're we're kind of doxing you now. That's what we're doing. We're passing your details out to the world. But yeah, so the favourite, I really liked it. Olivia Colman's winning awards for it, which is fine. It's a big showy role. I like that. They seem to be supporting roles as well. However, I do think Rachel Weisz is the best performer in this one.
I've seen sort of some of the trailers on TV and stuff, and I can't even remember seeing Rachel Weisz in them.
There's a lot of
I
Emma
assume
Stone.
she is, but yeah, it's mainly Emma Stone.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I feel like they should make a bigger deal out of Rachel Weisz in this. I think maybe they expected that Disobedience was going to be the one that got her all the attention for the awards.
Yeah, perhaps so.
And then it sort of fell in between, which is sad. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was great, and I thought it was Yorgos Lanthimos' best film yet.
Oh, there you go.
I did. So, who tweeted and what did they think?
So at G Hayes said, can't stop thinking about in #the favourite when Olivia Colman starts screaming, "Shut up! I don't want to hear it!" People peacefully play music outside, because that's literally me when a song comes on that reminds me of my ex.
Wow, that's telling.
Number 1.
Let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring.
It's Mary Poppins Returns.
You had the pleasure, didn't you, I believe?
I did. I think I'm not as big a fan as most people seem to be, but it was fine.
It was fine. That was fine. Did you say you just had a decent time?
Yeah, Yeah, decent, yeah.
Did you go with the family at all? Or-
Just went with the other half.
Ah, right. Oh my God, I would have given money.
He
to see
liked it
John.
more than me.
I would have given money to see John just enjoying Mary Poppins.
He did enjoy it more than me.
Good God. John is
him.
just the best person to sit in the cinema with. He really is.
He is.
Because if you can get him laughing, it's just hysterical. But before I talk about it, I was just going to say I had one of our cinema experiences over Christmas. You know, where you see an unbelievably terrible movie.
Yes.
Like we did 47 Ronin that time years ago.
By the way, I'm magic.
Yeah, I had that with Holmes and Watson, and that was just disturbingly bad.
I've not heard good
honestly,
things.
truly terrible. That's all I want to say on it. Anyway, okay, so Mary Poppins Returns, I thought was just a grand old time. I thought it was absolutely terrific. I thought it nailed absolutely everything it needed to be both a worthy sequel, but also an iconic enough Mary Poppins movie for this generation as well. I think there's a potential reboot element in there where they potentially can do more of these relatively soon.
Yeah,
if they wanted to. And I'd be fine with that if they were made up to the same degree that this is, because it's a really well built, really happy, joyous, captivating experience.
But do you know what I can imagine happening?
Go on.
I can imagine all these sequels coming out, but it's not Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
It's some random person, and that just won't be good enough.
That's when they go straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to be. When it becomes like Anna Faris as
How dare you?
Robbins. I'm trying to think who Jamie King. Okay, there we go.
Oh, no.
When we've sunk to,
Don't do
I'm just
it.
going down the list. I'm going down the list of like who used to be in films.
At least have someone British.
Like, that's fair. That's fair. So Anna Friel.
Anna Friel. Yeah, go. Yeah, it probably will be, actually. That's
Anna
a good
Friel
shout.
is Mary Poppins. There you go.
No one wants it.
So has anyone tweeted us about Mary Poppins Returns?
So, They Call Me Jess says, growing up watching Mary Poppins 100,000 times, # Mary Poppins Returns did not disappoint. It was practically perfect in every way.
I've not heard that yet.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
And we're back for one last ride, Ms. Needham. So, should we have a piece of film news before we get to the final review of the week?
I can give you some film
It's been a
news if you
really
want.
slow week for reviews. Like 4 films to review. It's been insane.
Well, that's what happens after Christmas.
Yep, yes
It'll
it
ramp
is.
up.
So, go on then. What film news should we discuss?
Well, you might remember earlier this week there was all this talk around there's going to be a Game of Thrones prequel coming out.
Yes. Yeah, I heard this.
And they announced the director for that pilot episode, which is S.J. Clarkson. So she's done various episodes, Defenders, Jessica Jones.
She has. She's a
Orange is the
really
New Black.
up-and-coming... she's like a big name in TV action
Exactly.
directing. For women as well. Like
For
she's
women.
one of the better known.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So good news. The bad news is the reason that she has been given this job is because her last project fell through, which was Star Trek 4.
Boo.
Well, I don't care, I'll be honest, but I can imagine you care about that.
Well, actually, I cared about it on one level because it was S.J. Clarkson was going to direct a massive tentpole movie.
Yeah.
I cared about that. And also, I mean, I don't dislike the Abrams Star Trek movies. I think they're great for what they are, actually. I think for being a more popcorn-friendly alternative Star Trek, I think they're pretty good. I mean, I actually don't think... I don't think Into Darkness is anywhere near as bad as people think it is. And actually, I think Beyond is slightly worse. But yeah...
Controversial much?
A fourth one that was also going to make the bones properly for S.J. Clarkson, that I was totally on board for.
And Chris Hemsworth was supposed to come back.
Yeah, George Kirk was in it, wasn't he? Yeah, I was intrigued by it.
Yeah.
But it did seem to go really quiet for a weirdly long period of time. So yeah, that it's been shelved does not surprise me.
It's been shelved. Sorry about it.
But now we find out if Paramount are actually going to allow the little bit of money that Bumblebee's made to give it a sequel. But because that would mean we lose Star Trek and Transformers in a week. But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
Shall
we talk about an English language remake?
Oh, yes, we shall.
Talk to me about the upside, then.
The upside, okay. So the upside is, as you point out, an English language remake of a French comedy called The Intouchables, or Untouchable. It had weirdly differing titles. It had like 4 different titles in the UK. And
we'll go with one of them. The Intouchables, because I just enjoy that.
Yes, exactly. The Intouchables, which is based on a true story originally. And it is the story of an ex-con who becomes a black ex-con living in Paris who becomes the life auxiliary, the sort of handler for a crippled billionaire, quadriplegic, billionaire,
A rich guy.
A rich guy. But, it's an old, rich, white guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what then happens is, as you can imagine, a buddy comedy drama
Oh, I
between
thought they were going to fall in love.
Yeah, they come from different worlds and they have completely different outlooks on life, and they will open each other's minds in unique and different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That was the French version. The English language version is exactly the same plots.
Still in Paris?
Still, no, it's New York. It's in New York. I actually thought as well that they had even replicated the car, because there's it opens with quite an iconic and memorable car sequence. It's a gag sequence that they have repeated point for point. And I thought they had repeated the car as well. And it's not until I went back and checked the trailer for Intouchable that I realised no, it wasn't a Ferrari in the original version. It is now. So now your handler is Kevin Hart. Your quadriplegic billionaire is Bryan Cranston. Oh, and the assistant, because he has a sort of executive assistant who handles his sort of general admin affairs, is played by Nicole Kidman.
Oh.
And right, so the way this happens is Kevin Hart is required, as part of his unemployment check, as part of getting his unemployment benefits, he has to go and apply for a certain number of jobs every day. So he goes along to what he thinks is a janitor's interview. It turns out he goes into the wrong room or the wrong door or something. He winds up in the apartment of this billionaire, and all he wants is just his signature so he can get out of there, and he winds up becoming, as we say, a life-changing companion. Here's a clip.
We're hiring a life auxiliary.
What is that?
He doesn't even know what he's applying for, Philip.
I need assistance. My arms don't work, as you so astutely noted, nor do my legs. I can only move my neck.
You can move your mouth.
As can you.
So what's that mean? I gotta carry you around or something?
You'd have to transfer me to the chair, to my bed, to the car. There would be some travel, if that interests you.
It don't. Travel enough as it is. Took me an hour just to get here. Okay. Look, I think your plantation is bananas, but unfortunately I don't want to be nobody's servant. So how about you just sign my paperwork and I think about your offer, okay?
Well, we can't sign papers saying that you're looking for work if you're going to turn down the work I offered.
So as you can hear then, it's Bryan Cranston getting that chance to do what Bryan Cranston does so well.
Be a grumpy old man.
Kind of is, but actually there's a lot of a softer side to this. You get the great fun Bryan Cranston, but it gets a softer edge here because that's kind of what the story dictates has to happen, because happened in the original. There's a lot of repetition as regards the plot of this. They've changed only one minor story element, and I kind of understand why, to be honest, but to an extent I'm mystified by it. It's something that's worth discussing, though, another time, but it's just for this. It basically just gives Bryan Cranston this ultimate moment of awkward to portray. That seems to be the only real result of it.
Okay.
Yeah, very strange.
Curious.
This is a strange decision to make with the story, but okay, I kind of get it, I kind of don't.
I guess it's only going to impact on people like you that have seen the original. Though.
Exactly. Now, the weird thing about this is, because the original was a French dramedy, the laboured and drawn-out way in which the story was told made sense because we allow the pacing of French cinema a certain degree of sluggishness, let's say, in order for it to suck us in with its charms. Problem is that when you transplant that entire story and you don't remove anything from it to an American movie, your options are either go Oscar caliber or trim this down to something that a studio can actually market for a Saturday night movie.
Yeah.
And the problem is this sits uncomfortably in between those 2 points. It does. You do kind of feel like, because at one point Paul Feig was going to direct this.
Oh,
and you think, okay, I can kind of see that. He could probably have pulled this off because he has something of a broad comedy but still kind of an Apatow leaning to him. So I could see him having absolutely made this work. This, though, feels a little bit pedestrian. And it sits, like I say, awkwardly between that thing where we want to be taken seriously as an awards contender or we want to be a multiplex on a Saturday night movie. And it sits awkwardly there. And the problem is that the performances are terrific. Kevin Hart has never been better in his entire career. Kevin Hart can genuinely genuinely act.
Oh, good for him.
I wouldn't have thought it, but he genuinely can act here. And this role went through like every iteration of every 30-something black actor currently working. Idris Elba was on board this thing at one point.
Really?
He really was.
I don't think he counts as 30-something.
Oh, no, I mean, like, that was the predominant... Let's be honest, it's 30-something men and then Idris Elba, who I think is about 55 at this stage, but still looks younger, sexier, and better than all of us.
I've been binging on Luther over the Christmas period, and that man looks good.
I too watched Luther, yes. I was a little disappointed by the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I say, this just went through like loads of iterations for casting. It went through loads of different directors. It went through loads of different writers. Lena Dunham was on board to write this thing at one point as well.
Man.
So yeah, it's been 7 years since the original. They have been more or less working.
Has it been that long?
It really has. Has it been?
I remember you reviewing the original.
Exactly. Well,
so old.
I just don't know if it was quite worth it. It's a solid remake, but you never feel like you're not watching the same story again because it sticks too closely. It does feel like it has literally been made for the people that are too lazy to do the subtitles on the original.
So if you haven't seen the original...
Then watch it, by all means.
Are you going to enjoy it, or are you going to think it's a bit slow, or...
Watch it by all means. The story is still exactly as good as it was in the original version, but the problem is because it's all there, the film, like I say, does feel kind of laboured and sluggish. Like I say, I think it pushes up to the 2-hour mark but doesn't cross it. I think if that's the case, it's 2 hours 5. Sorry.
Oh wow, it's a chunk.
So yeah,
it is a chunk.
It is. It's like Apatow length.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite Aquaman though.
No, not quite Aquaman length. No.
Would you say it's film of the week?
I would say not. I would say film of the week I'm going to give to Stan and Ollie.
Oh, well,
I think, to be honest, out of everything this week...
Saw that coming.
It's just been a very average week. I mean, average to good.
Yeah. It was fine.
None of these
just like my Christmas.
Exactly. So when we stop, you want to do the slideshow? Are we doing the slideshow thing? Am I going to have to? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry I brought it up. Okay, so fun to come next week off screen. We've got Beautiful Boys next week.
Oh.
The return of the Chalamet and the Carell. By the way, did you know Welcome to Marwen opened at number 13 in the box office?
Did it?
Yeah. Like, nobody wanted to see that, evidently.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Like, Andre Rieu made more money than that. That's odd. Anyway, so Glass is next week as well.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I kind of
reserved judgment.
Yeah, I'm kind of bored of Unbreakable at this point, but I'm looking forward to it. I didn't like Split either. I don't know why I'm excited for it.
Exactly.
Right, Hale County this evening. I couldn't tell you.
It's a mouthful.
Couldn't tell you too much about it, to be honest. Mary, Queen of Scots is next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So it's Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. We've got The Raft next week. We've got London Unplugged next week, and we've got that other John David Washington. Isn't it John David Washington?
I have no idea.
From Black Klansman.
Oh!
Yeah.
David! No.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
John David. Anyway, it's his second Oscar movie.
Excellent.
It's Monsters and Men next week as well. So I'm sure it's John David.
We'll figure out. You have to download the podcast and then you'll find out what its name is.
Fair enough. Okay, so all that to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store production for Movie Marker. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Kelly Needham.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more movie news, reviews, and more, visit moviemarker.co.uk.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Podcast extras.
Indeed, Ms. Needham. So, loads of news to cover because it's been like 3 weeks.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. That's what they say in America.
Can I start the ball rolling though with Christmas Eve? Because I think it was Christmas Eve this year. Then are the cats attacking one another?
They're just having a little scrap. It's fine.
So on Christmas Eve this year, Kevin Spacey decided that was the right time to release what might be the most bizarre video.
Oh, I kind of vaguely heard about this, but I never actually looked into it. What happened?
He released this video in character as the House of Cards character, as Frank Underwood, I think his name is in the show. Who obviously has been killed off in that series, so because of everything he did.
Yeah.
But he does this in character as Frank Underwood, basically delivering a message that you shouldn't believe all these lies, etc. Thing is, he released this about an hour after he was charged with some of these crimes.
What?
Which is really odd. So he put time and effort into this.
just very strange.
It's very, very strange. I can't figure out why he would do it, but that's what he did.
And the whole point was to say, don't believe the stuff.
You shouldn't believe everything.
Evidence to charge me.
But because he did it in character, he did it as if it was in canon. Like the character hadn't flinched. There was no more irony to place to him than that. So he kept talking to the audience, saying things like, "You know me, you know what I'm capable of," etc.
So weird.
It was really odd.
Like people had to help him with that.
Someone had to film it, light it, edit it. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I don't think Kevin Spacey knows how to do all that.
I can't imagine he does.
But apparently he is considering a comeback, though. And he's going to use the films of Asia and Europe to do it.
Oh, because in Europe we're more accepting of rapists.
Well, there was that whole Polanski thing.
That's true.
But
Let's talk about that.
What have you got anyway?
So do you remember the anime that came out? I think it was last year. No, I guess it was the year before now. We're in 2019.
We are, yes.
Which was called Your Name.
Yes, that was the body-swapping teenage romance thing, I think.
That's the one.
Really good.
Yeah, so I remember you enjoyed it. And Bad Robot are going to do a live-action remake.
Yeah, I heard about this.
But the news is they've announced that it's going to be Americanized.
Well, this is the thing. I remember reading about it, and I think it was there was a pair of directors or writers who were behind it, and they told us, "Look, we specifically asked for that." Because we figured there wasn't a point in selling the rights for them to make the same movie. We wanted to see the different versions. We wanted to see an Americanized version of this.
Yes.
That's why we sold it to Americans.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, that makes complete sense, because if you wanted to see the French version of this, you probably would sell it to the French. So
I guess the reason they've made a bit of a big deal about it is to say, no, we mean to Americanize it. We're not culturally appropriating this property and just casting some Americans in. We are Americanizing.
So we are just going to get this. It's going to be just set in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be set in Chicago this time, and so Bella Thorne. Is it Bella Thorne? Whichever Jonas brother is acting these days.
No, it'd be Noah Centino.
Is it Noah Centino these days?
It will be. Yeah.
I can't keep track of the young hunks these days.
Of the young sexy males.
I still think Zac Efron is the flavour of the month. That's how sort of outdated I am.
No, it's pretty good.
But so what else has been happening?
So Princess Leia is going to return in the next Star Wars.
In episode 9, yeah.
Yeah, and how, you might ask?
Because apparently they just shot a ton of stuff for the last one that they didn't get around to using.
Exactly.
Which, let's be honest, is about the best luck you could possibly have.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, how like the Beatles would keep finding stuff that John Lennon recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Queen did it, you know.
I opened up the bread bin and I happened to find this inside.
Yeah, we all popped out and he was just amusing himself for 5 minutes, but we recorded it, so technically it's releasable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, things like that. But yeah.
I mean, I guess the good news is that they're not going to just do a CG where they don't, you know, like when they do the CG face and they never quite work.
I don't know. CG faces, because we've got that Alita thing coming up in like a month, I think.
What's that?
That's the one that's like art produced by Robert Rodriguez, and it's like the anime type thing, but it's real. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. No.
James Cameron, I think, is a producer on it somewhere down the line. But, you know, because obviously if it involves a certain level of CG, you've got to have James Cameron attached. But, yeah. I don't know. CG faces sometimes look brilliant, like the Marvel movies when they de-age them. They look great then.
Yeah.
But I think Tron Legacy, has it been long enough since Tron Legacy that we can have another go now?
I think it probably has, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's been there's kids around that don't even know what it is.
Mind you, we've got that Gemini movie this year with Will Smith. The Ang Lee one, where Will Smith fights his own younger self.
Ooh. I've not heard of this.
It's been in development for 20 years.
Oh, so they filmed it 20 years ago. It's not CG.
You would think, wouldn't you? You would think, wouldn't you? No, apparently it took this long for the technology to actually get to the point where they feasibly could make it.
But at least they did that.
Yeah.
So, you know, fair play to them.
But,
we'll wait until we actually can pull this off rather than, well, we'll just try and fail miserably.
Exactly. Although I would argue, if you wanted Will Smith but 20 years younger, why not just employ his kid?
Jaden Smith does not look enough like
Jaden could look like... you could just feasibly just twitch him a little bit with makeup effects. He would look like his dad.
Put some shades on and cut him into a high-top style hairstyle.
Because with Will Smith, it's all about the delivery and the charisma most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I guess it is.
But, so that's Gemini. That's to come this year. So.
Oh, actually, I kind of look forward to that.
So what else we got?
So Spawn, this has been re-released. I think it's going to be Blumhouse that are bringing it out.
Is it Jamie Foxx's Spawn, I think? Is that a thing?
Something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But the news is, don't worry, we're not going to take the mick. It's going to be really dark.
Yeah, they said joyless, didn't they?
I think joyless is the term that they're using, yeah.
To which you think, well, we already have DC making movies. Why do we need more? Why do we
I
need
think
someone
joyless
else's
it was an interesting word to use, wasn't it?
Joyless. That's
yeah.
usually a criticism. That's a word used to describe something bad.
Exactly.
But
instead, what they mean is it's going to be darker and more adult focused. It's
I
not
thought the
kiddie.
unspoken part of being a human being was that we all wanted joy.
Yeah.
But, okay, never mind.
Shall I read the quote about it?
Please
It
do.
is
Please do. I'm intrigued.
So it says, there is no joy. This is from Todd McFarlane. There is no joy. There's going to be no fun lines in it, and it's just going to be this dark, ugly 2 hours worth of movie, which is essentially what a lot of supernatural/horror movies are anyway. There's not a lot of funny in them. I disagree. And that seems to be a weird hurdle for a lot of people in the city to get over because they sort of go into a superhero/Avengers default all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Someone's got a chip on the shoulder.
he has a bit. I think what he's trying to say is I miss the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, because that's basically Todd McFarlane's entire career. In the 90s, he created, a handful of characters that he has basically lived off the merchandise for forever now.
Well, he's got to update it somehow, hasn't he?
Well, that's it. I mean, this is all just a chance to sell more Masters of Horror figures for him, but... yeah, do we really need a joyless one? I think the whole thing with the last one was that it was crap. You know the one, did you ever see it?
I did, a long, long time ago, but I think the point wasn't we don't want any joy.
It was just make
In fact,
a
that
better
one was
movie.
joyless.
Well, it was, because it was rubbish.
Because it was crap.
You can tell they were meant to have some fun with it, but... like John Leguizamo as the clown, that was meant to have a sort of wit to it.
Oh, of course, love a bit of Johnny Leg.
But no, it didn't work at all. So why do you think it would work now?
I guess we're all going to be very somber when we come out of that one.
You say that, I'm not sold on the Hellboy reboot.
No, I'm not.
No,
Definitely not.
I'm not terribly sold on that.
That's out soon, right?
That's something like March, April. It's quite early.
Yeah.
But
Did you see Ron Perlman? I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of Instagram or Twitter post where it was like, I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, I heard he's been trolling them. Like he's just amusing himself trolling them, which is fun. It's fine fun, isn't it?
Good for him.
But Ron Perlman's just a character. We love him dearly. But
you mentioned Glass is coming out next week.
Yes, of course.
There's been a bit of a reveal, so I can never say his name. M. Night Shyamalan.
I think it's actually pronounced Shyamalan, but it's spelt Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
I think he goes with Shyamalan.
The guy that's in Split a bit does a bit of a cameo. Him.
Does a cameo in every one of his films.
Yeah, but that's the only one that I actually remember and took notice of.
He killed Mel Gibson's family, didn't he, in Signs?
Did he?
Yeah.
You know I've blocked Signs out of my memory, and I still haven't forgiven you for going to the cinema and dragging me along.
Look, I loved Signs. I saw it again over Christmas.
terrible.
First time in years. I think it's a terrific movie.
It's terrible.
Oh, I agree to disagree.
Anyway, so he's given an interview with Fandango, and he's revealed that some of the cut footage from Unbreakable will tie into the narrative.
Isn't this to do with the sun, I think?
I have no idea. It doesn't give me any more than that.
I think they've got footage that they shot specifically with Spencer Treat Clark, who played the son in Unbreakable. I think it was Spencer Treat Clark. And that he's returning for the new one, but obviously time is a factor.
He's going to fight his younger self.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they are actually going to include flashbacks, and those flashbacks are going to be comprised of material that was made for Unbreakable.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's going to be in a flashback sort of.
Why not?
Context,
You know, I hadn't considered until Glass was upon us, by the way.
What?
Is that Split is a Universal movie. Unbreakable is a Disney movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which Buena Vista. And Glass is being distributed by Buena Vista because it's under the original Unbreakable.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a weird thing there. Who'd have thunk that?
That's very strange.
Kind of a Hulk situation going on there. But, so what else you got?
Playing nice with each other. One that you probably will be excited about. Batman Long Halloween animated films are potentially on the horizon.
Apparently 2 of them, because they've done this a couple of times with the Batman comic stories, I think. They've made them into 2 back-to-back movies. It's basically just one movie that they've chopped in the middle. But actually, in the case of, I think it was The Dark Knight Returns, I think it was. In the case of that, it actually worked for the better because that story's better off viewed in two halves anyway. But I'm not sure about Long Halloween. I mean, everyone touts it as a classic. It's never quite done it for me. I can't even really remember the plot.
So apparently it's Batman trying to bring down the mysterious holiday killer. It ties into the Falco mob family and the origin of Two-Face.
That's what it was. Now, thank you.
You're welcome.
There's an Arkham Asylum one I always get confused with, but never mind. But yeah, the DC animated stuff, they're fine. But since they dropped the whole Bruce Timm thing, it's all just a bit disconnected, and it doesn't feel like it has that wonderful, joyous shared universe thing. Because the whole DC animated stuff, that's kind of what set the whole cinematic universe thing in your mind as something they absolutely should do, and then they never did. But yeah, it's a shame that they just lost that.
Yeah. Let's move on. Should we move on from DC? We'll talk about Marvel.
Okay. I always like to talk about Marvel.
Well, specifically Captain Marvel.
Aha, right.
I'm going to have to ask for your help on this one. So there's been talk about potentially looking at the Secret Invasion storyline.
Yes, it's kind of a go-to. Like, Marvel love this storyline, and for obvious reasons, right? So I'm not sure if they're the bad guys or the good guys, but these guys, these alien things in Captain Marvel, I think are the villains. They are the Skrulls. They are a race of shapeshifters. And at various different points in different Marvel sort of continuities, so like the animated stuff on TV and in the 616 regular universe comics, etc., there's a storyline. It's generally referred to as a variation of Secret Invasion, and it's where certain Avengers are revealed to have been Skrulls for years.
Like all along, or
not like all along, but like they were took over at a certain point in the continuity. And that certain events that you have seen unfold since have had, they've been meddled in ever so slightly by alien outsiders.
Got it.
The story is generally utilised to play up the paranoia between characters. And they tend to use... I think they used it around the time of Civil War, when the Marvel Universe was generally quite distrustful anyway. So it's always a fun storyline to witness, but I think Captain Marvel's meant to be setting that up as a possibility.
So are they suggesting that she might be the Skrull, or just that it could be a thing?
Just that it can be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what they'll do is they'll just have Skrulls impersonate people once or twice, and and then ask the question maybe, oh, what if it was someone we knew? That kind of thing.
And Samuel L. Jackson's also been talking about Captain Marvel, saying that in the film, the powers that she has are actually going to be much greater than she had in the comic. And I know nothing about the comic, so I don't know. But I
don't really know much about her as a character, to be honest. Not someone I've read a great deal of. She just seems to fly and shoot energy beams. Also, she's mega strong.
Yeah, well, he said she's pretty much the strongest character in terms of someone with powers in the Marvel Universe.
Probably just means she can knock the Hulk out.
Basically, it's like, well, they've got to, defeat Thanos, so throw in the strongest person ever.
Exactly.
There we go.
Well, Kevin Feige has said that Captain Marvel will become the default character that we associate with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which,
sure.
Because who do we do that with now? Because I would argue that Iron Man is the default figurehead of the...
I would probably say Iron Man, or maybe Thor. I think Thor might have overtaken these days.
I don't know. Captain America had a following for a while, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's I think
the beard.
The beard. When he lost the beard, he lost their respect, man. That's what it was.
That's it.
So, this is something I didn't know, by the way. They keep trying to reboot the Elm Street series.
Yes.
Well, did you know that is still going on?
Is it?
That is actually still going on. No one knew they were still attempting to reboot Elm Street, but it is. It really is.
But what's so difficult? If you're going to do it, just do it. We all know it's going to be crap. Just get out of the way.
The thing is, apparently, they want some of that Conjuring money.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. But
maybe he could be a spin-off character from The Conjuring.
Why not? I don't know. I think I almost said Freddie Mercury then.
Freddie Mercury.
I almost said Freddie Mercury is a character best left in the 80s. And now I'm thinking, no, we can't say that at all. Because, I love Freddie Mercury.
I know.
But I don't know, Freddy Krueger just now feels like, can we stop trying to update this character?
He's a bit crap when you think about it.
Like nowadays.
Yeah.
I can see it worked then. Yeah. And there's been attempts to redo it. It just doesn't work.
No.
Leave it alone. That's it.
Don't bother, or just get it out of the way.
You'd rather just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
get out of the way. It's out of everybody's system. Move on.
What have you got over there?
So, I mean, obviously we've recently had the Queen biopic, because it's not
Yes.
Freddie Mercury, it is Queen.
It is Queen.
I will
It is
argue
Queen's
that.
biopic, yeah.
Soon we're going to be getting Elton John with Rocket
We're
Man.
getting Prince as well, I believe.
We're getting Prince. So who's the next person in the list?
Well,
Who do you go to?
it's got to be someone just instantly iconic. Someone that you just look at and think, yes, I must know your story, sir.
It could be Bowie.
Could be Bowie, could be Elvis.
It could be Elvis.
We've got a good Elvis biopic.
It could be a
come on.
woman.
It could even be. Might we finally get the Aretha Franklin biopic?
We might, but we ain't.
Okay.
We're getting a Vanilla Ice biopic.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to say that again. Vanilla Ice.
I'm not overly sure I want to know that much about... Hang on, wasn't one of his awful movies from the early 90s kind of a biopic? Or was it like a...
I've absolutely no idea.
I'm sure it was called Cool as Ice or something like that.
It sounds about right. Well, this one's rumoured to be called To the Extreme.
Oh, man.
But actually, the star is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Dave Franco is potentially lined up.
Oh, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
I'm interested because I actually really see that casting working.
Yeah, he actually does quite... When you think about it, he does quite look like Vanilla Ice.
Well, it's not that, it's that. You know when Dave Franco does Smug?
Yes.
You know, like he did in Scrubs, that awful Scrubs season he was in?
Yes.
Like that Smug. If he did that whilst made to look like Vanilla Ice, box office gold, baby. Oh, yes. I'm in. Totally sold.
Come on, then. Dave Franco. Be Robert Van Winkle for us.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Because there's an actor called Travis Van Winkle, and I always think, is it Vanilla Ice? Is Vanilla Ice in this? No.
And it's not. It's the other Van Winkle.
No, it's the other, of the Connecticut Van.
Well, you know, I need to know what the originating story of Ice Ice Baby is. So
I'm sure that there was a really crap made-for-TV movie about Vanilla Ice years ago.
do you know, I'm going to Google it while we're
I'm
talking.
sure there was. Because I think I remember like watching it as a kid or something, and it was terrible. It was really awful.
I bet it was awesome.
But
See, if I just Google it now, it's just bringing out this new one.
oh, I don't know. But let's
I'll
see.
find it one day. What was it that we said? Oh, the guy from Black Klansman. We promised that if people listen to the podcast, they
it
would
was
find
John
out.
David, wasn't it?
It was John David Washington. There you go. Thanks
Fair.
for sticking with us.
Apparently, Karen Gillan's going to have her own action movie.
Oh.
Yeah, she's going to have an action movie called, and I love the title of this.
Mhm.
Wait for it. Gunpowder Milkshake.
What?
Gunpowder Milkshake.
Let's break that down. Gunpowder. So a milkshake made of gunpowder,
Yeah.
presumably.
It's gunpowder and a milkshake.
All right.
That's the awesome. The awesome is because it's guns and milkshakes, and those are
But
both
it-
awesome things.
But it makes no sense. No, that's fine. We're fine with that. Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
We're,
okay.
we're okay with that. All right.
There's no like. I'm kidding, by the way, about guns being awesome things. This is apparently an assassin tale that spans multiple generations.
All right.
So it's going to be grandmother, mother, daughter, assassins, and apparently
I
it's
like it.
being envisioned as this all-female affair. So I have a lot of time for this. If like Karen Gillan is going to be the caliber of action star that they want in this, like that could be awesome. Although if you're going to do this, just go a bit nuts. Go and get like Cynthia Rothrock and Sigourney Weaver and like all get Linda Hamilton in there. Just do the one that they wanted to make as Expendables, but do a good version.
Nice.
Like I would watch. Jerry Ryan has to be in it, for instance. I don't know about Lucy Lawless. You got to have Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless 100% has to be in it.
Like 100. Just get Callahan from the Police Academy movies as well. I think it was Leslie Easterbrook who played Callahan. Colleen Camp.
Was it?
It was Colleen Camp who played her in the Police Academy movies. But just get all the badasses for this, and then I don't know, have Gillian Anderson be their boss or something.
Oh, God, that's amazing. Oh, that's fab.
In full Spy Who Dumped Me mode?
Yes.
Yes, exactly like that. I loved her in
Exactly
Spy
like
Who
that.
Dumped Me.
Yeah, she was the best part of that, which, to be fair, low bar, but...
They were decent enough
it
movie,
was
though, wasn't it?
fine.
Speaking of, right, so Karen Gillan apparently is going to make that movie after she has made the next Jumanji movie. Yes. So, which, of course, is coming out this Christmas.
I can't wait.
It's set for this bloody Christmas. They've not filmed it yet. It's out this Christmas.
They're going to have to get Wriggle on.
They really do. They've not got Rob Riggle.
Well,
They've not got Rob Riggle. They're not that lucky.
they're not that lucky.
They need Rob Riggle.
But sure, I mean, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of CGI that goes on in Jumanji.
I don't know, actually. When you think back to Welcome to the Jungle, A lot of that is actually practical.
Yeah, but not all the animals.
Not all the animals, but actually there's more of an emphasis on the human beings, on like military hardware
Well, I guess
in
so.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, the animal stuff does seem like really minor sequences. I mean, even though they are obviously set pieces. But anyway, so we had Jumanji news, didn't we?
We did, indeed. So 2 new cast members have been announced.
I love both of them as well.
Well, number 1, Awkwafina.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Well, because Crazy Rich Asians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was brilliant in that. We'll not talk about Ocean's 8. We'll move on.
Move on.
The other one, Danny DeVito.
Love it.
Where's he been?
Where is that? He's been in Philadelphia.
I guess he has.
He has.
Where it's always sunny.
Mind you, he's doing Dumbo, isn't he? He's done Dumbo.
Oh, is he? Is he
Yes,
in that?
'cause he's the
See,
circus ringleader.
I just can't watch anything to do with it.
Can you not?
Even when I'm in the cinema and the trailer comes on, I just have to look away. It makes me too sad.
Really?
I can't do
This
it.
is going to be a thing, apparently.
Yeah.
This is apparently going to be a thing this year. But yes, Danny DeVito will join Awkwafina in Three-Manji?
Jumanji 3.
Jumanji 3, yeah, we are.
did it.
Speaking of threequels, Will Smith has officially confirmed that filming has begun on Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life 3? Life 3?
Yeah,
Lift 3.
Lift 3.
Lift
3.
Bad Boys for Lift 3.
Bad Boys for Lift 3.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so...
But at
cool.
least they've got the title for the next one.
Yeah,
Bad Boys
Bad
for
Life.
It's
Yeah.
perfect, you know.
But, although, you know, I mean, it'll probably be like a cliffhanger that ends this new one, so it forces their hand to film another one quicker.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that one could be like Bad Boys for Death, where, like, you know, he has to go to the afterlife and bring Marcus back.
I like
You know,
it.
I'm liking
into
this.
it.
I'm just liking the idea of Martin Lawrence getting killed on screen. But since we know that he's the only person in the
we all
world
have a
genuinely
dream.
excited about this.
You and I off air were talking about Bird Box that's
Yes, okay.
come out on Netflix. And you're asking me, you know, is it similar to A Quiet Place? So I got thinking, what's going on with A Quiet Place? Because, you know, we heard that there's a sequel coming out.
Yes, there is.
John Krasinski has actually given a bit of information about the sequel because he's been duped into writing it. He says Jedi mind tricked into writing it. It looks like it's going to focus on completely different people.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting direction. So obviously that kind of rules out Emily Blunt necessarily, isn't it?
Exactly. So we're unlikely to see those previous characters, which I think is a bit of a shame. But I guess I don't know. They maybe would have had to do something cheesy and sort of bring the dad back and be like, "Look, I didn't really die," to make it work. I don't know.
No, I think his death was pretty prominent. I think that kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that death holds.
That was a dying death. That one.
I really liked A Quiet Place.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good
it was
film.
really good. But so Bird Box then, is it any good then?
It's fine. I think it's certainly no Quiet Place. I think Sandra Bullock's fine in it. She plays an asshole well, and she's a bit of an asshole in this.
Nice.
She's sort of a lovable asshole. I can't remember what the guy is who plays her kind of love interest. I think it's Trevante Rhodes.
Trevante Rhodes from.
He's brilliant.
He was from Moonlight, and
Yes.
and he was in the Predator.
Yeah, John Malkovich is in this, which is quite a nice. It's a nice gig for him, I think.
Is he good? Because I saw the ABC Murders recently with his ridiculous accent.
I enjoyed him in this.
I am the Frenchy Frenchman.
He sort of got a bit of justice in this, which was quite satisfying.
Oh,
But
okay.
I mean, it's fine. The concept is that some things have taken over Earth, whether we don't know what they are. Never explains what they are. But if you look at them, you will commit suicide in a pretty horrific way. So quickly spreads across the world, of course.
So these aliens are like Roseanne Barr, huh?
That's exactly what they are.
Okay.
And Sandra Bullock plays a heavily pregnant woman. Oh, I guess she's not that heavily pregnant, but a pregnant woman who's not that happy about being pregnant in the first place. Finds herself in a house with random strangers who've kind of rescued her.
Oh, okay.
But they have to close all the blinds, block out all the windows. She finds herself needing to travel to find some potential people down a river.
I was about to say, how is there actually a ticking clock to this?
So
Like
it
ABC
kind
plot?
of jumps back and forth. So when we meet her, she's pregnant, or kind of, she's pregnant. We then see 5 years later when she's got 2 kids.
Okay.
Not quite sure why. They've got to travel down a river to see some other people, but they can't look where they're going. They've got to wear blindfolds.
Okay.
What are they going to do? How are they going to make it down the river?
Missed out on an obvious comedy concept here. But... oh, that's the thing. Didn't Netflix have to put out warnings to tell people not to do it?
Well, people have been doing the Bird Box Challenge, which essentially is doing general day-to-day stuff, but with a blindfold on. like curling your hair, like
Ooh, okay.
running from one place to another.
Yes, I can see how this might go spectacularly wrong.
And
Somehow.
Netflix have said, please don't do that.
Yeah,
That's probably not a good idea.
Imagine having to tell people that.
Well, you just think the Darwin Awards are going to have some real fodder, don't you?
Probably, yeah.
So there we go.
But,
So yeah, that's Bird Box.
Oh, in terms of the most obvious hiring you've ever heard in your life,
Oh, go on.
Dave Bautista is going to be in Dune.
What?
I know. So you know Denis Villeneuve's new movie, the director of Blade Runner 2049. He's got his obvious favourite cast member from Blade Runner 2049 back.
Well,
Because they really made a big
fine.
song and dance out of Bautista being in Blade Runner, didn't they?
Yeah.
He was in it for like 5 minutes.
Was it even that? I don't know. Well,
But,
whatever.
But yeah, so he's going to be in the Dune.
I'm sure he'll be
remake.
fine in it. That seems like the kind of gig that he'd be good at.
Yeah.
He's better in Guardians of the Galaxy than any of us thought he would ever be, so...
Oh God, yes.
Fair enough
and
to
I mean, we also Final Score as well, which was just terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, there is a plot for Bad Boys for Life out if you're interested.
Oh, go on then.
Because loads of news happen in little bits with this film
Dribs and drabs.
over like the Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
So Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants.
Joe Pants.
They're all back. So, you know, as like is it Mike, Marcus, and the Captain Howard. And apparently the plot sees someone close to a drug. Hang on, it's a drug dealer. I think the idea is that Mike and Marcus get marked for assassination by a drug cartel kingpin.
Sure.
I think that's the idea. But at the same time, all of this is happening against a backdrop where they are now the older generation cops, and there's like younger replacements who are trying to outdo them. And that
Mhm.
includes people like Vanessa Hudgens. So, yeah, don't quite know what to make of this, but we shall see.
Oh, we will. Yeah. Sherlock Holmes 3 may be coming out soon.
Again?
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 Apparently it's now on Warner Brothers' release slate.
Oh, okay.
What does that mean? Absolutely nothing.
I don't really...
Guessing.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think... No one wants it. Who's asking for it? Come on.
I know.
When was the last one? I mean, that was a fair while ago. We're probably looking early, not quite 2010, probably a bit after that.
I think it was... Oh, no, actually, I think I reviewed Game of Shadows. So I think that was 2011?
Around that.
I'm sure it was something like... It was 2009 for the first one, 2011 or 2012 for the second.
Seems about right.
I don't think there was one after he was an Avenger, surely.
No.
No, I think it had to be 2011 then.
Yeah,
Had to be 2011.
must be.
But they keep talking about it every year or so now.
Yeah, just keeping people on the ledge, really.
And from Warner Brothers' perspective, you can understand they might want to get Guy Ritchie back into the office very quickly before Aladdin comes out and he suddenly gets an even bigger job.
That's true, actually. Good point.
Yeah.
Us has been delayed by a week.
Yeah,
Don't know
heard
why.
this. Apparently,
Not quite sure.
it's for a ridiculous reason. Okay, so apparently it's because...
Or even more ridiculous than why Ant-Man and the Wasp was delayed in the UK.
Yes. It
Oh,
was.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently last year, A Quiet Place premiered at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And then opened in cinemas 4 weeks later.
Uh-huh.
And the amount of buzz that it generated, I mean, think about it. The buzz for A Quiet Place was huge, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well, Universal have decided that they would like this exact effect for us. So they are moving it back a week so that instead of 3 weeks, it has 4. Because they think that would be the optimum level of buzz to generate.
That's ridiculous. Nothing takes 4 weeks in this day and age.
It's the stupidest thing I've
Are they
ever
having
heard.
a laugh? They could release it literally the next day after Buzz starts and people will go and see it.
Exactly, it wouldn't
That's
matter.
outrageous.
The internet kind of takes care of a lot of this for you.
Exactly.
But,
for God's sake.
yeah, I mean...
I'm still looking forward to it. When's it even... So when is South by Southwest?
I'm not sure, but us is end of March here, and I think end of January in the US. So it would be...
Oh, man, that means there's going to be spoilers galore.
Oh, yeah, there are going to be spoilers for this.
Oh, man.
But I'm sorry.
Gutted.
But on the plus side, hey, we might get an award screener disc through or something.
Ooh, sharesies.
No, hang on. I don't think it opens in time.
Oh,
It doesn't
man.
open in time to make the Oscars for this year.
Damn.
So, yeah, it falls outside their designated release period. I'll tell you what, I'll leave us this week with a final piece, shall I? Unless you've got many more.
No, I'm all good.
Apparently, having learned absolutely nothing from the history of cinema, Warner Brothers are going to reboot The Green Lantern.
No.
Apparently, Jeff Johns, I think the head of DC now, He is hard at work on a script that will revitalise and relaunch the series.
I highly doubt it.
Well, yeah, but...
I mean, shoot me, but I think the whole character's a bit ridiculous anyway.
Actually, it should be brilliant. That's the annoying part. Every version in animation is nearly every version is terrific.
Nah.
I mean, there's a Green Lantern animated movie called First Flight that's absolutely terrific.
If Ryan Reynolds can't make it brilliant,
I know.
who can?
Do you know the problem?
What?
It needed to be like 2003 Nathan Fillion.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
If it had been 2003 Nathan Fillion, I don't get 2019 Nathan Fillion, for the love of God. He's a middle-aged man now. But if you had him at his prime, at his like pseudo Indiana Jones kind of type that he was, he would have been great. That would have absolutely slayed. Or another one I quite like, and I just don't know why. Jensen Ackles.
Really?
Yes, because for one thing, he'd be cheap.
Well, he would be cheap.
You'd be able to get him for some of that like low end sort of Tobey Maguire kind of size money to begin with, where you only it's like $500,000 for the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, what has the guy done apart from Supernatural? Is he in anything else?
I don't think he was in Smallville once.
Was he?
He was in an entire season of Smallville because he was just the worst character. There was no reason for him to be there. He was just the worst.
Sorry, Jensen.
That whole season was the worst, to be fair.
Poor guy. Well,
he had witches.
He clearly needs a platform, so, you know.
Well, I saw a tweet over Christmas that because Supernatural got added to Amazon Prime.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, the first 12 series, I think, are on Amazon Prime.
Do you know, I'm going to try for about the 4th time to watch it.
The first 5 series of it are great.
I get to
really
about,
great.
I want to say about episode 6 or 7 in the first season, and then I end up not watching it for ages, and I forget where I've got to, and I can't be bothered to re-watch the same ones over and over again.
You know, if you're going to try and rewatch it, you know what to do. Watch the pilot of it again.
Yeah.
The one where the girlfriend gets killed and they become hunters together.
Oh, yeah.
Watch that episode, then skip forward to about episode 18.
Okay.
When they're all still quite plot of the week.
Yeah.
But the mythology really ramps up. Like it
Okay.
starts to make progress. Because the dad's with them for a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, like they find the dad surprisingly.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, my man.
My man.
Love me some JHM, man. But,
all right, pro tip. That's how I'm going to do it.
There you go. So go from the pilot episode to like episode 18 or whatever. But I know it's got the Meg character in it, I think. So
No idea.
I know. But yeah, so Jeffrey Dean Morgan, incidentally, I watched Rampage like 4 times over Christmas. It was on Sky Cinema a lot.
It was.
Yeah. And
It's fine.
I still think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's the best thing about that film.
Oh, no, the monkey's cute.
I think Case and I said when Skyscraper came out that Jeffrey Dean Morgan should have been the villain in that.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been terrific.
Yeah, because I ended up turning it off.
Did you?
I did. Genuinely.
My word.
I know. It's got to be bad for that. Come on.
Yeah. It's got to be you. You didn't leave 47 Ronin, put it that way.
No, I went to sleep, remember?
You went to sleep, but you were still physically present. But anyway, that's it for me in news this week. So have you got anything, or are we calling it with a moment?
I'm fresh out.
In which case, here it is, your moment of Cage.
I know how your mind works. You know exactly what you're doing. And the whole time, you stand there with this who me expression on your face!